Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Dave, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we challenge one another to discuss movies both new and old with a strictly positive critical eye. Everybody got that positive?
Whenever you lean in like this, I don't know, man. I don't know if you're trying to throw us off. Is this a horror move? Is this where are you doing some horror shit right now? Or you actually are going to love the movie, but you want us to do some fucking diversion stuff?
Hang on. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. Oh my God, we're so lame. All right, guys, this is the Love of Cinema podcast. We keep it positive. If we don't keep it positive for anything, each other, Marcus's hat, then we are going to play this sound. That sound means that we have to take a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So if you've got them, I don't know, Marcus, if you've got one, but present your shots. Pour yourselves a glass to you guys at home. We're going to talk about a movie that does for New York tourism what Barbarian did for Airbnbs.
Cheers. Yeah. John's not here. He is experimenting in college.
Yes.
So
yes,
we are joined by a guest.
Apparently it's leg day, whatever that means.
It's a leg. All right. We have a guest who I met through Dave. Actually, one of our favorite episodes that I do not remember. I'll just say
nobody remembers that episode.
The Halloween 2020 episode where I was in a closet. We did a live show. A couple people joined. We talked for 3 hours, and we were so intoxicated that I don't think you guys caught that I didn't see one of the movies.
No, we totally caught that. Everybody caught that.
I think just you caught that. Okay. But anyway,
which movie?
The Neon
Neon Maniacs.
I skipped Neon Maniacs. I did.
That's so yeah, cool. we invited Marcus on that show, and he brought Neon Maniacs with him. We had a great time.
I'm sorry, it was your movie.
We did a fun little debate section at the end there. It was supposed to go for 90 minutes. It went for 3 hours, and Marcus went down in history as the only person to log off the show and immediately throw up. So,
what an introduction! All right,
ladies and gentlemen, Marcus.
Wow. That's
I've always wanted to ask you this. Is it Slabine? Is it Slabine? Is it Slabine?
It's Slabine.
Is it really? Or is it actually?
Yeah.
What an appropriate name for
that
a horror
wasn't one
director,
of the options I
honestly.
gave you there.
Yeah. I mean, everyone gets it wrong. I personally don't understand it, but
So we are so happy to be joined by you. I am not a horror expert, as I've said many times in this show, but your name actually on IMDb comes up as a set dresser for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is also set in New York. We could talk about that at some point in here, but you've been doing a lot of different things. Obviously, you're more of a writer-director, but you have worked in genre films for a long time, including helping my good friend Dave here get some work, which we appreciate.
Oh yeah.
So thank you so much for giving us some good, much needed credibility today on the show. We appreciate it.
Oh no, thanks for having me here, guys. Some odd reason I have some weird filter that keeps on giving me like Johnny Depp eyes I'm trying to turn off right now. It's weird.
You don't want that.
Dave, anything you want to...
It just spins them constantly?
Yeah, it's very like weird.
I promise, Your Honor, I'm not a cat.
we are
a cat.
We are on YouTube if you want to watch Marcus stare in every which direction of the screen. Yeah, that's it. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's constantly switching profiles. He's checking his light.
If you're new to the podcast, thank you so much. We try to keep it spoiler free for a couple minutes here on the show. We're going to finish each show with our what you've been watching, our recommendations of the week, and we are going to get through some gripes of the week and catch up a little bit. So if you need to hear about this movie, Dan, you just go ahead and scoot along about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll start talking about the movie. But before we get into this, Marcus, I feel like you've seen Scream a lot. Dave, what's your familiarity with Scream? It was the hugest thing when I was a teenager.
The original, I think I've seen upwards of 20 or 30 times. Second one, I've seen upwards of maybe 10 times. The third one I saw once.
Okay. We buzzed subtext.
Sorry, twice now because I watched it the other day.
Oh, so did you rewatch all 5?
Negative. I'd seen 5 close enough, and I figured I was good with that one. 1 and 2, I probably got memorized.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I just thought, I'll give 3 and 4 because I realized one of them I hadn't seen at all because it had such like negative connotations around it, and for some reason I got it confused and thought that was 4 that had the negative stuff with it, and so I never watched 4. And so
that
I
was probably a
watched.
fun surprise.
I watched 3, and I have a lot of questions about 3, but that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
But 4 I found really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Marcus.
Once it gets past the where they try to just oversell the beginning, once it gets past that and settles down into Killsville, we are good.
In 4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it Killsville. I love that. All right, Marcus, let's get you chatting here. How's it going? How's things?
No, it's good. It's good. It's going good.
So you were
What's going on?
You delayed our recording by an hour because you came back late from your set today. What are you working on? Anything fun that you want to announce?
I can't talk too much about the one I'm working on. That particular one, because it's we're building something insane. That's that, in all honesty, is probably one of the coolest things that we've ever built.
Sweet.
And for a sci-fi shoot, that's really what I can say. But yeah,
damn.
but I'm working
You're muscling in on my genre.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. The script is really good. And the set that we're building is like I said, it's beyond cool. I can't believe that it's that the person that's doing it has
we're playing them off with the gush alarm here. I'm sorry. Are we assholes?
I got a drink for that?
Yeah, you got a drink.
Yes.
Are we assholes to our guests?
Yes. Well, I am. I don't know about you.
Well, I am.
Whatever.
I'm proven. Anyway, sorry, Marcus. Thank you for
No
filming in New
worries.
York. Thank you for filming in New York and employing your New York artists and colorists and actors.
Yeah. Well, we're doing that, and then also in 2 weeks, at the end of this month, we're shooting the first part of a horror anthology called Hours of Terror. We're shooting the first installment, which is called "I Want Your Skin,"
Jesus.
which is about a skinless creature that stalks a woman in Chinatown, chasing her down, trying to steal her skin to put it on himself.
Wow.
And we
Picture
got
Chinese Romeo and Juliet with just a little bit more filleting.
Yeah,
filleting?
exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
And is there anything, if people are listening and they want to see your work, is there anything that they can find that's accessible?
Currently right now there's I did a movie during the pandemic called The Dark Offerings. That's out there on Amazon Prime right now.
Dave, have you heard of that movie?
What's that?
I think we talked about this movie briefly a couple weeks ago, right, Dave?
Yeah. I came to play on that one.
Yeah, sorry.
That was a fun little challenge because they basically it was full on COVID restrictions, so the whole thing was done over Zoom, and we had to use whatever lighting they had in the house.
That's so
Just-
fun.
just set
That's
up.
like fucking
Yeah.
Apollo 13 right there.
Yeah, it was literally
Sorry, Marcus. Well, where can we find that?
Oh, Amazon Prime. And then I constantly work with the team from Terrifier. So Terrifier 2. I'm involved in that. I'm in the club scene. I play the bartender as well as as the Pied Piper. You'll see them bopping all over the place. So make sure you check out Terrifier 2.
Bring a bucket.
What's that?
Bring a bucket.
Yes. People did get sick during the movie theaters. They had to be rushed out. It was crazy.
That was a great little engine that could that film.
It was. It's still kicking. The cons have been insane with Terrifier stuff. Like,
I've been following them
The cons.
Yeah.
because I love it when something succeeds like that.
A friend of mine's going to the Kansas City Comic Con. Is it going to be involved there as well?
Probably.
there was
Look,
a Kansas City
David who plays Art, and Damien who's the writer director of it. and
Theater
did all the-
actors. Thank you, New York City. Go ahead.
They are basically at a con every single weekend this year. So chances are, if you are on this planet, you will see them at a con.
That's the
God, I
life
hope he
I
gets
want.
appear. Yeah, Dave. I mean, you can go, Dave. You just got to pay.
Yeah.
I hope they get appearance fees. Well, Marcus, I'm curious to hear about your familiarity with Scream and a little bit of horror as such. But why don't we do that after our gripes so we can use it as a segue into the movie? Does that work
Marcus
for
might
you
not
guys?
be familiar with the gripes.
Okay, so Marcus.
I've got some gripes.
Good. We just talked shit, but you only have a minute to get it in. All
You
right,
have 60
That's it.
seconds. If you go over 60 seconds, you got a drink.
Wait, 60 seconds for what? Wait. For which
60
one? All-
60 seconds, you get one. You only get one, and you got 60 seconds to get it off your chest. Otherwise, you have to drink.
Yeah.
Which film? For all the
For
Scream
any-
films?
No,
Just
no.
anything in
Separate.
general. It doesn't even have to be movie related. This is pretty much just a chance for Jeff to practice his tight five at the start of his comedy set.
That's right. I've never done stand-up comedy. But no. Okay, so let's be clear. We're gonna don't say anything about Scream yet. We're gonna do our gripes, which is just anything you want to say. Because here's what happened: people didn't like that we would take all these tangents. By people, I mean my family. No, I'm kidding. But we didn't. So we just get it in. We throw our shit in there, so that way we can just focus on the movie. You know what I mean? So if you have some shit you want to say, about anything, you got a minute to get it off your chest.
Jesus, I don't think I'm drunk enough to really hate rage. Or...
Okay, you can go last, and it can be a Scream
let
one.
me help.
No.
Rick.
All right, think about it for a second. Dave, what do you think?
You can go first if you like.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let's do. Okay. All right, go.
Here you go.
When did we all agree that every comedy special had to have a short film before it? So whenever I see these comedy, all of a sudden they're like getting ready in slow-mo. So yes, I'm talking about the Chris Rock one, but like he's getting ready and he's like getting ready for the show, but then he like looks at the camera and he's posing. And all I'm thinking is like, get out of the way. He's got to get on stage. He's like ready for his show. And then I'm like, oh, it's just the fucking short film that they do at the beginning. I just don't know when we agreed to these kinds of things. And I wish we got a little bit of heads up on it because it all seems, because this is comedy. This is you get out there, you got a live audience, but the whole thing at the beginning of it, it's like we're in fucking MoMA before we get out there. And it's like, I know they're trying to set the scene and set the mood, but I didn't know when we got into this. I didn't agree to that. I like you just getting out on stage, grabbing the mic, and go to fucking town. That's what I like.
Oh, he makes it this week.
He makes it. Got it in.
And just in his defense, that backstage guy has rented a fucking Ari, and he is going to use it as much as possible.
He's got it for the whole day, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I've been walking through the city a bit this week because I was back at work for a bit, and I heard all these. There's a lot of car horns going on in the city, and like people that are 6 cars back, and something up the front's happened. They're just laying on the horn. I'm like,
yeah, it's really effective.
You have no idea what's going. You're right next to my head, that sort of thing. But that's not what the gripe's about. The gripe is about when you watch TVs and movies, and that's not there.
Oh, we're segueing into Scream. Okay, go ahead.
Not only are the horns not there, anyone going anywhere immediately gets a park right outside wherever they fucking want to walk into. They don't even have to walk around a corner. They're on the same avenue. They're not like it's ridiculous. No one can park like that here. That is an extra 15 to 20 minutes of your fucking film. It's not realistic.
Are you talking about Scream, Dave?
A little.
Guys, Scream is not set in New York. I'm gonna say it right now. It may be maybe Brooklyn. Okay, anyway.
It was filmed in Toronto.
It's Canadian New York. What they do with all these films. Canadian New York.
It was a Canadian suburb. Marcus,
do you have one you want to go
can do
for?
a Scream gripe. This is a positive podcast though, so if you do gripe about Scream, we're gonna have to buzz you. But I'm ready to hear it.
I can tie it into Scream, but I mean,
all right, you got 60 seconds.
Can it be spoiler free?
Go.
Okay, go
no, so I guess the one thing I can gripe about is what's been the bane of my existence the past like 2 weeks is the fucking MTA and their train system. And just how broken it is. And I'm off the N&W line, which is like the best line out there. But the problem is that it's been going down almost every single day to the point where it's like, if I want to go home, and it usually takes me 30 minutes, I have like a 2-hour fucking commute to get from Times Square to Astoria because the W doesn't work. You have to go back downtown to Union Square. Then you have to come back up and take the 7. And
solve
then
for X.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For anyone who needs clarification, that distance is a 3-hour walk.
Exactly. Like, and then you hop off the train, you go to take a fucking cab, and what happens? They've jacked up all the rates, especially Uber or Lyft, and it's just the worst. I mean, and now they're jacking up the rates of everything, and I got to stop because I only got 5 seconds. But fuck the MTA.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Fuck the MTA indeed. Why did you buzz it?
Oh, I
thought buzzed me for.
Oh, I thought we just buzzed each other anyway. I forgot the format. All right. I will say, I think it's in the trailer, but that I think that was a pretty that worked. That set piece in the Scream. I'm curious to hear what you guys talk about. But thank you for bringing up the MTA. Also, the train was in the 80s still, right? Like I don't know. Anyway, good. We're here to talk about Scream, people. We're here to talk about
Scream 6.
Let's dive in, and then I'm gonna try to pick both of your brains about the horror franchises and such, which you know so much more about me. But let's get into this. So Scream 6, which is, I don't want to do the requel sequel thing. For anybody who's seen this movie, you get it. But it is both the 6th movie and it's also the 2nd movie. For anybody who saw 5, it is also the 2nd movie of this. Double down on the nostalgia again. They're still rehashing / reevaluating some of the things they threw out in the last movie. So maybe watch 5 and 6 back to back, or maybe not. I don't know. But we're talking about Scream 6, the largest opening of the series ever at $44 million. That is the most lucrative Scream film to date, at least with regards to its opening weekend. $75 million worldwide. Scream 7 is already being talked about. So let's get into it. Basically the same core, wink, wink, cast. It's a Scream 5 featuring Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter, Jenna Ortega as Tara Carpenter. The Carpenters, who, by the way, were mentioned at the Oscars by the RRR guy who said he grew up listening to the Carpenters. And I was like, that's so funny. The Carpenter sisters are in the movies right now. Jasmin Savoy Brown as Mindy and Mason Gooding as Chad. The core four are back. Courtney Cox is also in the trailer, so we could talk about her. Dermot Mulroney is in this movie. Josh Segarra, who you might know from She-Hulk. Devyn could Hayden Panettiere is back. They talked about that. Okay, let's talk about this fucking movie. So, our directing team, Radio Silence back. Same writers, all the same shit. Here's the setup. Here's the pitch. I'm kicking it to you with your initial takeaways. What'd you think? What'd you feel? In the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. Who would like to take it away with your initial takeaways? What'd you think? What'd you feel? Spoiler free.
Spoiler free.
For a couple
spoiler
minutes.
free for the first couple of minutes. Yeah, we're going to warn everyone before we go to spoilers because hopefully people listening go and see it in the second weekend, or not, depending on how this goes. I booked a 1 p.m. on Saturday screening because it was the time I had, so I was like, all right, maybe it's going to be a bit quiet. I walked in and it was not quiet. Times Square was jacked. Like people were loaded in like crazy. I mean, I
was at that screening.
1 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, at Times Square in the Dolby Cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Terry were both there.
Oh my God! It wasn't Terry you yelled out, was it?
No. I got a whole story because I didn't mean to interrupt.
I thought it was going to be quiet, but these guys were into it. They were pumped. And then the best story I have from it is midway through the screening, and I am totally against yelling out in the movie. It takes everyone out. It breaks the thing, that sort of thing. But if you're gonna do it, Courtney Cox is being pursued by the killer. That's not a spoiler. She grabs a gun and puts 3 shells through the door. And then she starts creeping towards the door to see if she hit him. And from the crowd comes, "Bitch, you don't put no shells through a closed door. You wait till he comes through that door. Have you learned nothing, Courtney?" Fucking lost it. If you're going to yell out in the theater, make sure it's gold like that. Good. That is now the fucking benchmark. As it was, I'm, as we know, a total wiener when it comes to horror films. Not with this. I had a great time. Through all of this. I wasn't enough into it that the things they either skimmed over or changed or little things that they didn't really nail bugged me. I just had a great time with this movie, and everything I liked about the first first 2 was kind of there. I feel like they maybe didn't stick the landing, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm going to agree, and then I'm going to kick it over to Marcus here. So I generally agree. I liked the movie. I think what I appreciated was I feel like this movie was closer. Now, maybe I saw it in Dolby as well, not at the same time as you motherfuckers who didn't see each other. This is how big these theaters are in New York City, people. We have different experience. All these people are like, "You really like that movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, I saw it with so many people. I didn't even notice my friend."
What row were you in?
No, I was in a different screening. That's what.
No,
you
Marcus,
too. Yeah.
Marcus, what row were you in?
We were originally in row H, and then they double booked our seat, so that was a whole thing. So I missed the whole opening.
Oh, God.
Well, I saw it, but I had to stand there while
Everything
the
got
fucking
sorted, yeah.
Captain Dipstick over there tried to figure out what to do. Then they offered us free tickets and stuck us in row C.
Okay, because I was in row D.
You must have been right. You must have been right.
I was the guy masturbating right behind you.
Kai, stop it. Stop it. All right, can we talk about Scream? You guys, you fucking figure shit out on your own time.
He was talking about Scream. He was making people scream in the movie theater.
Yeah, well, you stand up and walk and disrupt. Dave didn't even notice you disrupted him. That's how into this movie Dave was. Totally ruins 30-second period. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, who's this motherfucker showing up late?
So I felt like maybe the close-ups were just more close because I didn't see the last one in theaters, but I felt like it was like on these people. I felt like it was really close in some of them. And the stabs, maybe it was Dolby, I don't know, but the stabs felt very violent. They felt loud, they felt gushy, like I've heard the squishing, and it was like uneasy. So there were a lot of people that got stabbed a lot of times, not just like the couple. And we talked about this with what was that? What was the movie that I didn't like with the brothers that did Endgame, and they did the movie with the Ryan Reynolds and
Oh God, I've forgotten the name of it as well.
Yeah, fuck both of us. It was that Netflix movie. But anyway, there were a lot of good
The Gray Man.
There were a lot of good quick stabs and then they're dead. Because they're, I love this one where they stabbed him 10, 20 times and at least own the fact that these people, it's hard to kill these people. You gotta drag it out. So I did like that. I think there were certain set pieces. A lot of them were in the trailers. I thought worked really well. I love the Jurassic Park scene. That's the one in the bodega, which is in the trailer. I thought that one went, again, maybe it was Dolby, but I was on the edge of my teeth. If they touched a piece of glass, I was it was good. I was how are they getting out of this? That kind of shit. I liked the sort of near the end kind of stuff, generally speaking, I liked that set piece, and I liked the subway one, that works pretty well. There are a couple things though, the more I think about the story where I'm and there's a couple times where I felt like they had opportunities to take the last movie and go in a new direction that they didn't quite do. They kind of just kept, it's like they had more nostalgia juice in the lemon and they just were we can make this a part B from the last movie a little bit. And I wish the New York thing, I mean, for sure. Well, I need more extras. I need more. We're in a Scream movie on Halloween in New York, and we're in private locations for a lot of it. It's you guys, you got to go to New York if you're going to go to New York. And they said they didn't want to do the touristy thing. It's yeah, but even in Brooklyn, there are bars that have 100 people that we have to do that. I'm sorry, we have to do that. The one subway scene isn't enough. So I guess that's a little bit of a gripe. The therapist thing, there's a couple little things that I just didn't quite work for me, but on the whole, I got my screams, I got my yucks. They did their thing. I didn't guess the killer, so I had a good time. All right, Marcus.
So I was one of the people that I hated the last Scream.
Oh,
hated
interesting.
it.
Yeah, you're one of the few, right?
I figured that was coming.
Interesting.
And I'll go into that one in a minute. But so I kind of went into this one with very low expectations, being whatever, it's going to be, and I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think that it does a lot of things right. It's a lot more fun. It doesn't rely as much as the previous one did on just nostalgia baiting, being oh, look, these are people from the previous ones. And, we're doing the Force Awakens stuff, you know what I mean? Where it's just bring the old characters back while we're trying to tell a new story. But because you now have 3-4 characters whose stories have already ended, now we got to find some way to put their stories into this. And to me, the best parts of this film were really when it was just being itself, when it was actually telling its own story. And the weakest parts, I'll be honest, were the Courtney Cox stuff. And without spoiling anything, it was just, I've seen her do this exact same character, her exact same lines, the exact same everything for the past 4 sequels, where it's just very obvious they just didn't need it, but they were too worried to not have somebody from the original in it. What the hell?
That was for a while back.
that was brewing.
Yeah. But I do have some issues, but for the most part, it was a ton of fun. That guy in the audience, we were sitting right diagonally from him. We heard every one of his little whatever he was. I mean, I don't know if he was drunk, if he was stoned, but he was hilarious. He was the best part. Yeah. But that's the thing. You're seeing a Canadian New York movie in New York in a New York theater with New Yorkers, and that, it's a one of a kind experience. I mean, for me, I like this one. I put this one up there above. I think it's my 3rd favorite sequel, next to the first 2, honestly.
Yeah. So you like 2, 3, and this one.
So for me, it goes 1, 2.
Oh, okay, the 3rd favorite.
No, he doesn't like 3.
Well, I thought you said sequel. You said 3rd favorite sequel. I thought, okay, I get it.
Oh, yeah, no. So 1, 2, 6. That's
4?
Fuck me.
Gotta be 4.
I would go 5, 4.
Oh.
I'd go, honestly, 3, at least 3 had the cameos.
Dude,
4 I just tried to rewatch.
That was a cheap money. That was a backdoor promo for Jay and Silent Bob, wasn't it?
Oh, it's
because they were shooting Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back at the same time.
Well, so was
or releasing it soon
Scream
after.
5 when like the Randy girl had literally spits out word for word dialogue from Jay and Silent Bob reboot. She literally says the speech about reboots in that film, and I was like, did Kevin Smith write this movie? Because,
He probably donated.
yeah, probably did. I mean, but
so good. We're all coming out pretty positive on this. Yeah, I don't want to be too negative too, but I feel like we're all in a boat of liking this.
I've got negative stuff to say.
Same.
Yeah, well, I mean, should we just open up the spoilers, get straight to it? Because we've said I had a great time, you had a great time, we all had fun. Should we just open up for spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to ruin the fuck out of Scream 6, so proceed at your own peril.
It was stew. It's fucking stew. You brought back again. Fucking stew.
Well, okay. I want to talk about the opening with you guys, and there's a couple little like false starts on purpose that they did, which is really fun. But where is this college? Talk to me about where is this college? Where did you guys picture it?
And why does it have conflicting trains on it?
They're all over the city.
Yeah.
Wait. I wanted to say this because Marcus and I talked about the Nev Campbell not coming back into this thing, and because the directors have to talk about this now because Nev Campbell came out with the press release of being like they didn't give me enough money, and we talked and we were like, after the last movie, like you should be lucky to be asked, like. And to your point about Courtney,
really.
Cox,
She built that franchise. I disagree with that. She built that franchise, and
touche. Yeah. But here's the thing: this is sort of a new franchise, which is why they're like, it's the requel. It's a I was like, this has been a franchise. I thought for the past like.
But see, I found that kind of endearing. It's like, okay, she's not going to do it, but they gave a little handoff as to what her life is like now.
Yes,
she's moved on. She's out. We've still got these guys who are tied to her and it. And
I'm happy there's no love lost.
Yeah.
I'm happy there's no love lost.
I like the way they did that.
I don't know what yeah, me too. They're not mad at her. She might be upset that she didn't get more money. I don't know the deal. But to your point about Courtney Cox, the unfortunate truth is that this franchise has to move on its own. And the last movie, like, it has to at some point. So I'm glad that we all like this movie, but they can't do this again next time. And also now they have one of the biggest. Now they have one of the biggest stars in the world in the next movie. So I'm sure her people are either like, this has to be the hugest thing ever. In order for you to keep doing this, you got to kill these off, or we're not doing it. Like, I don't know. They're in a weird fucking spot. Again, and Courtney Cox again was the worst part. So they didn't need her in this movie.
Courtney Cox has become the one-armed man in Hot Tub Time Machine.
I'm happy she was in this.
Setting it up. She's going to get it. She's not going to get it. She's going to get it. So when she finally does get it, there's going to be a party at the theater.
I literally started clapping when she got stabbed. Sometimes I was like, thank God, finally. She should have died from Scream 3. She should have been killed. Scream 4, she should have died. She gets shot like 4 times. She gets shot in Scream 5. It's done. Fucking kill her off. It's done. My biggest issue with this, I got a rant. I got one word.
Here's the gripe we've been waiting for.
My biggest issue with this film is how weak the killer was. Look, I like the killer and I liked him and I liked all that stuff and killers, but they do a very shitty job of what they're supposed to do, which is kill people for the entire second act. In third, they don't kill a single solitary person. They stab a lot of people, but they don't finish the job. Everybody fucking comes back. The one kid gets stabbed 20 fucking times, and he's like, "Oh, fine,
is this
guys,
Chad?
The 4."
Chad, how is Chad still alive, guys? Come on, he got stabbed in the last movie too. This is 2 movies in a row where he died,
he's still
but didn't
alive?
die.
2-pitcher contract, motherfucker. That's how he's still alive.
I know.
You know what? Yeah, but this is the thing. I feel like the movie forgot that it was a slasher. In a slasher, people fucking die. Like, the thing I love, and I know people hate about Scream 2, but I love, is that they killed Randy. And I loved Randy. Randy was a favorite character, but you had the balls to take out the fan favorite character.
That still fucking haunts me to this day, and I respect why they did it, but I fucking hate them for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't see it coming. It was a brilliant move on their part to also alter all the characters inside of it, and that's what his death really did.
Well, that's
changed everybody.
The other thing as well, it was if you take out Randy, it's like everybody's on the table. Anyone could go now.
So to that point,
that's the ultimate whiff of death.
You know what?
Now everyone's safe. I don't fear for anybody in this franchise now that they kept Mindy alive, the two sisters, fucking Chad, fucking Courtney Cox. We had to say, oh yeah, by the way, she's alive. I'm like,
I don't know what Jenna Ortega's team is gonna let her do for the next. I don't know what the deal is with that. It's very interesting, but
Well,
Now,
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with being genre movies forever, but I mean,
she had a much larger role this time around too. I know.
You know what I would have done, and I know this sounds bold, but especially after Wednesday, you know what I would have done? I would have killed Sam. She said in the movie, he wants me. That's an out. It was written in. But anyway, we'll come back to that later.
I feel like I know where they're going with this.
Let's talk story.
Yeah.
So this thing opens with, we know what it is. It's a take on it, so it's a little different. At least they're not home alone this time. But you have Samara weaving in a very bright yellow dress on a Tinder date. Apparently, college film professors are on Tinder. I feel like that's sucks for them because you know that there's definitely going to be students, trying to like swipe on them all the time. But such is life in the Big Apple. And this was a very New York City scene. I felt like it could have been like East Village, or even like some parts of Chelsea. I thought it was a good scene. Yada, yada, yada. Alley, we see the Ghostface. And then guys, they take the mask off. And it's the fucking guy from the Grand Budapest Hotel and Spider-Man. He's in. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, you see his face in the first 10 minutes.
We are about to know who the killer is. The whole movie. What a bold take! I didn't buy that
for a second.
And then I guess I didn't either. Also because they usually cut to some kind of something to get into the rest of the movie, and they didn't do that yet. So obviously there was more to it. And it turns out that him and his friend, who were college students of this professor and loved horror movies and wanted to, be copycats themselves, well, the real new Ghostface copycat killer kills him and his friend who is in the fucking fridge. Kills them and leaves a mask that has
in the fridge
that has DNA from. Is it Randy? Has DNA from? Is that the Randy one? Randy's DNA.
No, that was the one from the last film because they went backwards from each one.
So it was
Jack Quaid? The kid from The Boys.
Jack Quaid, yeah. Okay, yeah. So and then the movie becomes, your typical, not typical Scream movie, but then it's, but they did this fun little take on the opening, I thought. What'd you guys think with that? I know you didn't buy it, but were you in?
No, I didn't buy it, but I loved that they subverted it because they were like, at this point, you're in Scream 6, all bets are off.
It was very slasher.
The guy takes his fucking mask off.
He slashed the shit out of her, and they went full Jeffrey Dahmer on that fridge.
Yeah, like that was gratuitous, and it reminded me, not in sheer absolute gore, but like it reminded me of the brutality of the kill in Scream 1.
The first one when he cuts the stomach open? Yeah, exactly. This is what these movies are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're never gonna get past Drew Barrymore hanging from a tree with like her skin flayed out, but like that was the best.
Why do we keep talking about skin getting flayed in this episode? Fuck.
Well, we're talking about a slasher movie, dude. They do it.
Yeah. I'll buzz myself.
There's a little bit of skin wings. Come on.
Skin wings. Get out of here. All right. We haven't talked about like aesthetic and that kind of stuff. You guys like the story?
Marcus?
I mean, look, so to comment on the opening for me, I missed half the opening because I was too busy trying to figure out where the fuck I was gonna sit, despite the fact we had tickets and this other woman had tickets, and so I saw bits and pieces of it, and I was like, oh, they're actually trying something different after 5 films. I do think it's one of the better openings. I think the worst opening of them all was Scream 4, which was just a straight up comedy.
Yeah, that was, I agree wholeheartedly. That I was like, I'm going to hate this movie, and then it got better. But if you do decide to watch Scream 4, just stick past the opening.
Oh, it just goes. That whole movie is basically a comedy.
Yeah. Although it does get a little better later.
But so like with this one, like I like the aesthetic. I like the fact that it's in a new area. I like the fact that they took these kids out of Woodsboro, which was a step in the right direction because now it's kind of giving these new characters who I don't find to be as interesting as our original cast. But I do find that the new location, that it's not in Woodsboro again, is actually a nice breath of fresh air after seeing 5 films in Woodsboro where it's the same story, the same everything. So I do like the aesthetic. I do like, like I wish that there was more of it. I wish there was more usage of like New Yorkisms and stuff like that. Like the grocery store scene I thought was great. Which also though kind of hints at who the killer is because of the way that he's moving. I mean, that guy's moving like a cop. He's moved like his movements, but I will say I did not guess who the killer's in this one because I was torn by by the scene where the neighbor was like, "Oh no, the guy's in your house, the guy's in your house," and I'm like, "Oh, this is literally every Scream where they show the killer, like they show Billy Loomis right after he's, Ghostface is killing people."
I love that. I love those misdirections. It's one of the things I love the most about the Scream movie. Like the first one did it obviously for the huge twist, but now they've become an essential part because we're all in on the gag. Like we know. So now when a misdirect happened, it was like, was that a real misdirect? And it makes you fucking paranoid watching the movie. It's like, who the fuck is it? Was that real? Was that bait? Was that a red herring? Like, and I feel like that increases my enjoyment of it because they're throwing out all these misdirects, but some of the misdirects are the actual killers.
Yeah.
The whole movie was a misdirect on what's his name, the one that actually was the killer.
Yeah.
The kid. What was his name? Ethan?
Yeah,
that was funny. That I love even just the text messages. I'm on the next train with Ethan, aka GF. That kind of shit. I was like, this is fun, and it was a scary scene in the thing. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, the one thing like I'm glad they didn't go the way of I think it was Scream 3, where like the cop is putting stuff up on a billboard and it literally has a piece of paper next to him that says "I killed her." And it's like a total misdirect, but it's like, oh come on, that's fucking heavy-handed, guys. These were a lot more subtle. Like you knew they were happening, but they were a lot more subtle. It was I feel like the writing got cleverer for this one.
And I think its strongest points was when it wasn't a nostalgia vein. Like to me, the worst scene in the movie is definitely the
apartment
Randy Rules scene that we have to.
The real scene.
It made no sense. Number one, these killers weren't actually recreating horror films. They weren't horror fans. So that whole, they're going by the rules, that had nothing to apply to this. So that was just, we're doing this just because, this has become a trope of the series. And it was just cringeworthy. And you can buzz me for that. I don't give a shit.
Okay. Honestly, I actually forgot about that scene. So that's how memorable that was for me.
I mean, it was memorable for me because I enjoy that scene every time it comes up.
Was this in the apartment? Was that the one in the apartment?
This was sitting in the school outside. It happened outside where they're all sitting around on the benches. And I enjoyed the explanation. I'm like, where are they going to go with this? Like, what are the rules this time?
The school, like the college.
Yeah, do you want a fucking map? I don't know where it was. It was on some chairs.
They were
outside.
They were all sitting on the benches, and she starts like basically saying. She starts pointing at every person, and then they all turn it around, being like, "Well, it could be one of you guys. What are you for?
Let's call it
your fucking mind.
Scream NYU." So it happens there. And but like I love that scene. I love finding out what the rules are and like how they're going to play with it this time because that was one of my favorite parts of like the first two movies. And but this time I found myself going, this scene is really long. So it was like
I didn't even remember the long scene. Guys,
on
a scale of 1 to 10, how baked were you watching this movie?
Is Sam? No, I came from teaching kids. I wouldn't have had marijuana
7
with me. Yeah. What the fuck am I? Oh, guys, what time does Sam do therapy? Because I'm pretty sure they were They did the social network like interstitching the frat party with the therapy session. So does Sam do her therapy on Saturday nights at 11 p.m.? I'm just a little curious about that. The therapist thing didn't make a ton of sense for me. I think that was back to the nostalgia thing and then him not knowing her and freaking out. So I didn't love that trope per se. But one thing that I always like in this franchise, which I thought they did good in this, is horror movie lines can be cheesy. In fact, all movie lines can be cheesy. So I shouldn't knock horror films. But some of these lines were fucking cheese, man. You know, things that only are said in movies, and they're very self-aware about it, but they did it in a way that's subtle to the point where I also agree when it was what it was, rather than trying to stitch it into the franchise, when it was saying the cheesy lines because that's what this situation is called for in a horror movie. I thought that really worked well. But the apartment sequence is my favorite of the sequence. I thought that got me well enough. I thought that was a pretty good set piece.
While we're on that point, like what was your favorite kill?
The Squid Game one on the ladder was pretty good, I will say.
Dumpster dive? That's what I'm calling it.
Okay. That one was pretty good.
That was my favorite.
See, that was my thing. There wasn't like a really,
Epic
I watched
kill.
half of Scream 4, and that was one of the things I was saying about Scream 4 was like, I was like, oh wow, this is actually graphic. I feel like the gore wasn't as gory as some of the other ones.
Yeah, it was more like a prison film.
Yeah, it was more like they cut away from all the stabbings and stuff like that. Like the girl getting gutted.
Yeah.
Was cool, but
Also lived.
Yeah.
Once again, like
Not for long, but lived.
Not only lived, but went over a ladder. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
yeah. That's my thing that they got wrong with this whole movie was stabbing meant nothing to people. Getting shot meant nothing to people.
Yeah, I'm way too afraid of guns.
Stabbed, fucking, crucified, and they were still coming back. Everyone was fine. Courtney Cox got fucking stabbed in the chest. She got stabbed in like the heart.
So do you have a favorite kill or not?
I actually, it would have been the Courtney Cox kill, but she fucking lives.
Yeah.
I actually started clapping, and then when she's like, just don't tell them that they got me, and I was like, she's gonna live, isn't she?
Yeah. So two things. Number one, I think actually the first one is my favorite because I saw the fake Ghostface take that moment where he was gutting her and then savor it. I saw the killer savor it, and that was the first time in a while, especially early in the movie, the killer, it didn't just seem like this is what I do now, I kill and then I'm gonna this seems like there was there was humanity behind it that had like more motive, and I actually really liked. And also the first
it was
one because of that.
Samara Weaving, like in one scene, like they made you like her. She was a likable character. You wanted good things for her. And I felt bad for her that this weird guy couldn't get there, and I knew it was the killer, but like that he couldn't find his way. You're a film history professor. Why are you walking down a dark alley in a horror movie?
Another thing that gets this is not my note, but she said she's a 20th century horror slasher film expert. It's like, okay, well, so you just don't watch new movies, I guess. That's literally what she was like. Is I don't like the new ones because it's only been 20 years. It's not like she's not like an 18th century art expert. The horror movies have only been around for 100 years. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I like the first one. The other thing is I live next to Courtney Cox. I'm literally on the fucking street. They go to 96th Street and the thing says 96 in Amsterdam, which is, I literally walked by that corner today to get beer. She's above my bodega.
Jeff just doxed himself on the fucking podcast.
They're like, we got to get to West 96th Street. And then they showed the GPS next door to me. And I was like, fuck, I got to go there after this. And never mind.
Did you have was there some tapping at the window and some people with a fucking ladder outside it?
Oh, I'm so happy I'm on the 6th floor. I shouldn't say that. I'm on the.
He needs to buzz himself.
Jesus, stop talking.
What room are you now?
Look, if you get into apartment number.
Don't make us send you back to the farm upstate.
To the farm upstate. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna turn into glue. Okay.
Now I know where to deliver my copy of Neon Maniacs with this guy.
I felt bad. I did feel bad about that.
You should. Okay, now you have to watch it. You have no choice.
You tried to bluff your way through that so hard.
What about the Smithsonian that they created? Also, I really wish that somebody went in the cage. They set up Chekhov's cage, and then they never actually got caught in there. I really wish they had that, but
that was something else that, like, it was cool. The shrine room, all that stuff. It was a good set piece for the ending.
Yeah.
But like, come on. Number one, why New York that they have the shrine? Number two,
very expensive shrine.
Who the fuck is getting the burnt fax machine from a house that exploded in Scream 3, or like or what's his name, the newscaster's a fucking jacket and all this stuff? I'm like, this is like some crazy memorabilia that's like, I don't think that anybody would even have. They had everything, for Christ's sake.
I have an idea for Scream 7. Are you ready? They make Stab, whatever, I guess it's Stab, whatever, first. And then Stab starts coming to life. Are there any horror movies that do that? Because I feel like that's the only way to justify this shrine, where they think
Wes
that
Craven's
so many
new nightmare.
Is that what it is? Is that it?
Well, and that's literally the plot of the original Scream.
Yeah.
It's a movie fan. It's a movie lover's who take it too far.
But they haven't seen the movie. Anyway, the moral of the story is I need to again, we're in New York. I need to see some more of. I know we have the Halloween sequence, but I think I could use some more of this idea.
I feel like it's going to be like Scream 7 is going to be Sam turning.
They have to do something with it because
they've leaned into it real hard, like in the end of this. And I feel like it's going to be her against Jenna Ortega.
A little too much, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You can't just say it in a fun voice.
Yeah. Elmo still gets buzzed.
I need to see what happens to Jenna Ortega in this next movie. She can't she's too big of a star now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Look, let's be honest here. They screwed up killing off Dewey. They did, because David Arquette was the one actor that they could have gotten to come back 1,000 times for Scream 57, and they straight up killed him. And then basically they only have Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox, and Nev was like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah,
what was she even done in this?
You shouldn't have killed Dewey. I'm out.
Yeah,
You killed my ex-husband.
Dewey would have made more sense in this. Dewey would have made more sense than Courtney Cox did. Courtney Cox made no sense in this.
Well, and they had the whole cop thing with the father of the daughter and the two kids and both kids and yada yada, whatever. What do you think about the Hayden Panettiere coming back? What do you think about that? She kind of seemed like a cartoon character at first, but I really sunk into it.
Yeah, she lay it up later, but
it was good.
That was a big surprise to me because I didn't even notice her on the poster, to be honest. And she's right there in the fucking poster. And it's like all the Shazam media like blowing the big character reveal of who turns up in the movie next week. But that one really surprised me, and I was like, didn't she die? And then they're like, didn't you die? And I'm like, we've gone meta. Okay, good. I'm in. Done.
I liked her in it. I mean, I've always liked Hayden Panettiere. I used to watch Heroes.
Yeah.
Well, at least the first season.
I watched it all. Everything was good except the end.
Yeah, that's basically what I've heard. And like, and seeing her pop up in this, it was nice. You know what I mean? Do I buy her character? They needed a reason for her to be there.
What about the dirty cop thing that they just like threw in on her? Oh, she's also questionable. Did you buy that for a second? I didn't. It kind of came really quick.
I did. They got me real hard because it came at the perfect moment. I'm like, oh shit, we're in the killer reveal and we're not even in the final moment yet. They're doing it a little differently. I was like, she's trapped in there with him. Done. And they got me good.
They do a good job as screenwriters, and you both have written screenplays. Sometimes
the difference is Marcus has had his produced.
Well, that's okay. I'll call it the Stranger Things problem for no other reason, which is just like, okay, we have to do another season. We have to give everybody equal story. But some people are just clearly more valuable in this world. Sorry, 11 is more important. And then the one kid, I guess, went to radio camp for a summer and now knows how to hack the Russians. Okay, fine. But you other guys, you got to start getting some skills, because what are you going to do? You work at a slushy shop, so you're equally as important. So 11? I don't know, guys. So
when it comes to mix the men, they're the stars.
But what they do in the Scream movies is sometimes 2 or 3 scenes go by and you haven't seen a character, and I don't know how the writers just are writing and they're like, oh yeah, what about that character? And it's like, well, maybe they're the killer. Oh, cool. I wonder how involved they get with that. But these kind of movies are good where like you start asking yourself, where are they? And that happened to Agent Reed a lot of times in this, where I was like, where is she?
Turns up, yeah.
Yeah, so they did. I feel like they still do that really well. That's something they do really well in this franchise.
Yeah, I honestly, when they were like pushing the final reveal, I was like, oh, so it is the neighbor, because he was like, oh, because they told him to go away, and I was like, he's gonna show up. Exactly, and then when they did say Kirby, I was like, okay, I can see that, but and then when they started revealing, I was like, oh, was not expecting that. Oh, okay, I got it all wrong, and I was like, nice done, because Scream 5, I guessed it. It was very obvious, because I was like, you are literally remaking Scream. Who's the boyfriend? Oh, this is the character. Oh yeah, who's the best friend? Oh, who's this? And the only thing I got about the killers this one was the motive, because it's the same motive as Scream 2.
Yes,
a pissed off mother or father or family member,
and the
going
only
after
singular
them.
killer they ever had. Scream 2.
No, Scream 3.
Scream 3 is a singular killer.
Wait, 3?
Scream 3 is just the brother. Scream 2 is Mickey, the freaky Tarantino student, and the mom.
And the mom. It's both. Yeah,
I thought she did it by herself.
No,
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Elephant.
Yes, you're right. But I'll tell you what, no one will ever top that look when she goes full fucking psycho.
She's incredible in that movie. Scream 2 is very underrated. I think Scream 2 gets a lot of shit that it does not deserve.
I saw so many fucking Scream movies. They're all blending together this week. I had the weirdest nightmare the other night. Fucking hell.
What was it? Anything good?
Well, it involved multiple Scream killers.
Okay.
Cocaine Bear.
Sure.
And Spider-Man was there for a second. But I kept waking up, and I woke up and I'm like, oh, cool. That was the longest dream ever. It was only like 12:30, and I'm like, I've still got 4 hours of sleep left. And I went back to sleep and went right back into the fucking thing. It was an all-nighter. You know, if those you go back in. Even changing positions didn't help. I went right back where I was, to the point where it started to blend into reality, and I woke up and I'm waiting for a fucking Ghostface killer to come out of some room in my house. It was a weird night.
Okay. You know what Cocaine Bear does well? I think I'm ready for Scream to have some friendly fire. I feel like all the kills were to check out. I'm ready for some friendly fire. I'm ready for the Daniel Craig Bond to take over and just get a little sloppy. I'm ready to see some fucking bare knuckle
take
things.
Out one of your friends.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
I am ready for it, people. I'm ready for it. Everything when you look back on it, everything is so clean, and I'm ready for some diversions to be like, that was friendly fire. I don't know. Like, I'm ready for it.
I love the statement on guns as well when she's trying to get the fucking safe open. It reminded me of Jim Jeffries. It's like, my gun's locked in a safe. Well, it's not for fucking protection, then, is it? And because she took her 5 goes to get the fucking combination, she finally gets it, shoots through the door. And my first thought was, Jenna Ortega's dead.
Exactly.
What a way to go out. That would have been perfect.
That would have been great.
Anyway, I'm not rewriting this movie or anything, but let's keep it positive. I know Dermot Mulroney I liked for a while and then got a little caricature, a little snidely whiplash. 3 kids, they all became like the witches from The Nightmare Before Christmas. They're like ha 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 at the end. It was like 3 of them was like a lot for me, but I did like it. I'm trying to think if there's got to be other positives in here. This college sucks, but like there's got to be some fun things there. Like the frat party was not great. It's not.
I will stand by.
Oh, that was good. We had good
the frat party.
Friends saving each other.
Yeah, that was some good shit. And then she thanked her for it later as well, which was great. Because she, actually wasn't in a fit state to go upstairs. I tell you what though, I'm like the New York thing for me, like made this movie. If they had of, because let's face it, we're what 6-0 in Woodsboro. Like when it comes time around the anniversary of these things, you'd just be calling the fucking National Guard by now.
I think that about Stranger
locking
Things.
The town down.
Let's keep talking about that. But Stranger Things, guys, you got to move out of Hawkins.
Yeah,
you gotta ask for a transfer. Why are you still there?
Yeah, one of them was in Russia.
That fucking Russia thing.
Oh, I didn't write it. Fuck.
And Demogorgon just shows up in this camp that he's at. Anyway, Marcus, what are you thinking about? Anything on your mind?
Look, going to a different location is always a nice change, and seeing it in New York was just wicked cool. I just wish that there was more New York of New, you know what I mean? Like New York.
Yeah.
It kind of, and granted, they did show Jason takes Manhattan at the beginning of the movie, which is like, the whole joke about Jason Takes Manhattan is that it should have been called Jason Takes a Cruise, because that's 80% of the movie. And the last 20 minutes he's in New York. Well, Canadian New York, except for one shot.
Well, Canadian New York apparently is popular.
Well, listen,
everyone loves shooting their New York.
When I was looking at the tickets, my show times, one of them was 1 a.m. And I was like, okay, I've seen the trailer for this. I'm going to do a 1 a.m. screening and then walk out of the theater at 3:30 in the morning and get on the subway. That's like walking into a fucking 4D version of this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, if anyone who does that is a maniac.
What do you think about this? What do you think about the subway scene?
I thought it was good.
Too much.
I thought it was good. It was really funny. I was listening to Matt and Mark. Did you listen to Matt and Mark this week?
No, because they were saying stuff that I agreed with, and I was like, well, I don't want to just spew their shit on our show.
No, I discounted half of what they said. But it's just like, no. The one thing that I take issue with that was said on their show, which was, that's not what a New York City train looks like at Halloween.
Mark said that. I did listen up to that spot. Yeah.
Yes, it fucking does. It
actually does look like that. It does.
Worse.
Dude, I've been on the subway
downtown.
in Halloween and after the Pride Parade. I've seen some things, man.
Yeah. Mark was bummed about the sound effect when the doors, they were like, do, and those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, it happens when the door was opening. Yeah, no, but I'll let that go. You know what? I'll let that go.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
They used the noise as well. That's a little thrown for us, and it was there for the opening.
What'd you think about the way it was shot? Because that was another thing they were picky on, is they didn't think that it was shot particularly interestingly.
Dude, this was stock standard for the series. Like, there's no new, like, you have no reason. Like, there was a couple of great, like, elevated shots and stuff like that, but you don't need a fucking Trinity spinning head to film a murder.
Yeah, not for nothing. You're on a subway train. I mean, like they did a good job of cutting between two different cars and all that stuff. My only gripe with that scene is literally that the killer couldn't. There was no reason that killer could not have killed her. Like, it just didn't make sense that he couldn't have killed her. And not for nothing, if it is the brother and the sister that did that kill, he's standing right there.
It had to be him.
There's no reason that she would be like, "Oh my God, you're hurt. You're hurt." There's nobody else there to like back him up. He could have just walked off the train, let her die on the train, and instead he helps her out. It didn't connect for me, and also I was getting to the point where like, oh great, this one's gonna fucking live too.
Now that you bring it up, that's a heavy-handed misdirect. Yeah.
Wouldn't he have wanted to be like, it was me?
Unless it wasn't him.
It had to be the sister, because there's no way he could have put all the outfits on.
Oh, it had to be the sister, but at that point, because I guess to like protect your anonymity and stuff, like up for the cameras and whatnot. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. But what about the rest of the movie? Did you like the way the rest of the movie was shot? Did you like the look of it, the feel of it?
I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't really have any problems with how Screams look. Screams have always had enough of a budget to look nice and look good, and they're all, even the original Scream, it's always like beautiful like mediums and stuff, and
there was no glaring, like, and I saw that, like, it was the Dolby Cinema screen at Times Square. It was fucking huge, so like there was no glaring like errors or stuff that I've seen in other films. So sure. No, I think it was fine. It was shot well. The final color on it was good for me.
Well, is there anything else that we're missing, guys? Because I kind of feel like we're sort of settling in a nice place here.
Yeah.
So like most horror, like a lot of movies, we really liked it. There's still things to pick out, which is sort of the conceit of our podcast to not do that, but we do it. We can't help it.
And the funny thing is, all through spoilers, we've been kind of ambiguous as to who the actual fucking killer is. So still go and see it if you happen to listen through by accident.
I guess that is.
You have listened.
I guess that is. Yeah. They were a little giddy for me, I will say. That was just me, though. I'm sure other people would appreciate that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the one gripe I had about the whole film. Like with the reveal, they didn't really stick that. But after what happened after the reveal, they really landed. That landed for me.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I keep giving just references for everything. You know the two guys in Pirates of the Caribbean? There's like the one tall skinny guy that's in Game of Thrones too. Like, it's like bootstraps, and he just has like this little giggle the whole time. They reminded me of that. They were like smiling and like, oh my God, we got you. But for like minutes and stuff, I was like, yeah, I could use a little nuance.
Yeah.
And I do think Dermot Mulroney. Dermot Mulroney. Is that how you say it?
Mulroney.
He
got a little caricature at that, but it was good. I think on the whole, I like it. I could use more Billy fucking with Sam too. That could be something fun for the next movie.
Well, that's the thing. I think he's going to influence her in the next one, and it's going to be Jenna Ortega versus her.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now. I think that's what they're going to do, because they leaned real hard into it.
She's going to become the whatever the fucker. What was her father called? The Mad Queen. She'd be the Mad Queen.
I see. I still don't get that plot twist from the last one. I still don't understand how Billy Loomis could be her actual father when Billy Loomis, like,
Well, when a man and a woman love each other very much,
right? But when the fuck did he do this? When did he do this? When he was like 16?
Well, he always looks like he was
if he's 16,
looks like
that's
his
like
dad,
30 seconds of his life.
I don't know. I just don't buy.
Come on.
You just said Billy Loomis can't hold an erection for more than 30 minutes without, following through.
Fuck Billy Loomis. All right.
Well, anything else going once?
Dude, there was once in my college town of Adelaide in Australia, a guy who came to town and he looked enough like Skeet Ulrich to pretend he was Skeet Ulrich, and he went right through fucking Adelaide getting free meals, free drinks, all sorts of. He bailed him out for thousands. And he was pretending to be Skeet Ulrich. It was fucking hilarious.
Pretty fun. I loved making those screen movies.
Like, who picked Skeet Ulrich?
Oh my gosh, people, thank you so much. That sound means that it is officially time for our final segment of the evening. So thank you so much, my fellow co-hosts, for a great conversation about Scream 6. Can't wait for Scream 7. Have to have you back on to talk about it. But it is now time for our final segment, What You've Been Watching, where we give people our recommendations for the week and send them on their way. We like to start with Dave. We can come to Marcus pretty quickly after that. Dave, what have you been watching?
Well, as I said, I did watch Scream 3 and 4. I heartily recommend Scream 4 if you can get past the first 10 minutes of it. And we started watching, my wife and I have been watching Criminal Minds. We watch it for fun because it's a really good benchmark on society. And we got to the end of it and it finished. It was great. And then, of course, there's the new season, Evolution. So we've started watching Criminal Minds Evolution. Now, Criminal Minds Evolution is on Paramount Plus.
P+, nice.
So they can say fuck now.
Oh, yay.
And they do. And it's awesome. Yeah, it's a great it's a great extension of the show. It's missing a couple of characters, but it's still a great extension of the show.
Love it. Okay, we're seeing Shazam
this week. Yeah, do not watch any of the TV spots. It will ruin shit for you.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. It'll ruin Shazam 2.
Well, I'll go next here, and I'll say I rewatched the movie Rush because I'm into Formula One, and Formula One just started again.
Yeah.
So I rewatched Rush, and I liked it better the second time than the first time.
Okay.
I do feel like there's humor in everything. This is a quote by somebody named Michael Shirtliff that has stayed true with me for a long time. And I do think Howard...
Wait, who?
Michael Shirtliff is his name.
Okay,
so
cool.
Ron Howard, his humor is a little old for me in this franchise. There's a couple like cutting and editing. You know, they do like the comedic, because with comedy nowadays, it's all in the editing. They don't just let people like be funny. Like there's like, and I feel like the editing is a little grandpa-y. I will say a little bit in this movie Rush, but otherwise I like it for the most part about these very famous Formula One drivers in the 70s. Okay, so I saw that. I watched all of the History of the World Part 2, which I did find funny. I feel like that's how comedies are. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't laugh at all. I feel like there's no middle ground. I would say like I laughed like 8 out of 10.
Me too.
Not hilarious. Like I didn't like.
I've only seen the first episode.
Take anything.
I spat take when we got to Rasputin in the first episode.
There were a couple really funny moments, and they were similar to what I said about
Rasputin, and this is getting stabbed in the back.
Oh, his best one is, this is getting my dick cut off, and it's like literally 30 seconds jackass spoof. Yeah, but it worked. The show worked for me. So I watched all of that in Rush, and I'm not caught up in the middle. And The Last of Us we finished too. We can talk more about that later, but
I haven't finished it yet, so I hear they've changed it a little bit.
So I'll leave it there for our conversation. Marcus, why don't you bring us home with what you've been watching? Any recommendations? Anything you want to plug? Go ahead. Floor is yours.
So well, since you talked about Last of Us, I finished watching Last of Us.
Fucking Dave hasn't seen it all, so anyway, go ahead.
I mean, when they had like they altered the ending and they had like the aliens come in and they put it into like the Ridley Scott universe.
Ridley Scott doesn't have a universe. Every one of he has a multi-cancelled verse.
Pretty much. Look, I love Last of Us. I'm a big fan of the games. I have my own gripes about it. What they did, what they didn't do, and I think that they rushed a lot of that first game, which I think they should have stayed a little bit more on and had us grow with.
12 episodes.
I thought they were on a good trajectory.
Episodes.
I thought they were on a good trajectory too, but then at the end, it does seem like that's what happened.
They just
I mean, I have to wait to watch it, but if it's what I think it is, the game does the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, I won't say anything. Yeah, it's but look, it was a great watch. It had some great episodes. I did a binge recently of Knock at the Cabin, which I hate. M. Night Shyamalan. I think he's don't get me going to him. Like the movie, I thought it was actually not M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we have a whole episode that says that in 30 seconds, basically. But yeah, it's a whole episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I saw Cocaine Bear, and that movie gave me everything I fucking wanted, which was a bear on cocaine killing people. It was fucking great.
Okay.
Everybody go see Cocaine Bear, for fuck's sake. I've seen it twice.
I can see it.
Dude,
at the movies. It's the first film I've gone and seen at the movies twice, and I don't know how long.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I saw
the first time was with like a packed theater on like a near opening night, and these like it was Jeff and Mark from the Matt and Mark movie show.
Fuck yeah.
And we had a great time. The people behind us drank an entire fucking bottle of wine. And then the second time I went with like 50 fucking filmmakers and bartenders from Astoria, and everyone was lit as fuck. So like there was chanting, there was outrageous laughing. It was the most amazing experience.
I was supposed to go to that, and I was working.
I know.
Everyone was hitting me up.
It's because you didn't come.
Wow. I didn't even say anything negative.
It is, yeah. You said
I hate you for not coming.
Yeah, you hate your job. I'm saying.
And then I also saw Creed 3, aka Rocky 9.
Have you been listening to our show? Is that why you've been watching these movies?
No, I had AMC stubs, and I was like, fuck it. They charged me $25, so I'm just gonna cash in on it. So I saw those 3 films.
Yeah.
And saw Scream, and yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else I watched recently. I can't really think.
Anything from your private collection? I mentioned the private collection because it takes up an entire fucking wall in your apartment.
I wish I could show it. Well, I did just get in 3 movies.
Yes.
Clerks 3, which I haven't seen.
How do you top the Donkey Show? Honestly,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've heard this one is a lot more tame, which is worrying me, but I will probably watch that tonight. I also got Pearl, which I think is one of the best films of last year.
Yeah.
And the fact that she didn't get nominated is the reason why the Oscars suck. And then I got the 90s classics, The Dentist and The Dentist 2. Did you guys ever see those movies?
No,
but I went to the dentist recently, and that was fucking enough.
Yeah,
dude, watch next time you go to the dentist. Watch these movies right before, where it's about a guy who's.
Fuck you.
Wait, what just happened? Oh, for that recommendation?
Yes.
No, you need to. The movie's about this guy named.
You also get buzzed on this show for being a fucking lunatic.
Corbin Burnson.
Oh, God.
He catches his wife giving the pool boy a blowjob, and he goes back to work after cutting out her tongue, and then starts doing unnecessary dental surgery on his patients. The first one's got Ken Foray. The second one's got Clint Howard.
So it's like falling down with zzz.
Yes. And it's Brian Yuzna that did it. So he also did all the classic H.P. Lovecraft movies. So yeah.
So you're a big physical media person? You have a whole collection?
100%.
Oh my God, it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
I have over 2,000 DVDs and Blu-rays.
So Marcus,
this is why I'm single.
It's also why it costs you a fortune to move.
This is why you're single now. It has been forever. Okay, Marcus Slabine. Fuck, man. Is that it? Did I nail it?
No, you got it right the first time.
Fucking nail. Well, not the first time, but Slabine. I fucking love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. This is so great of you to come in last minute like this. It's awesome.
No. Thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure.
I wish we get. I
noticed you didn't pregame the show and it didn't go for 3 hours this time. So that's a great thing.
Well, I also only have one more of these, so.
Sorry, well, thanks again
for anyone listening. That's a champagne bottle.
It is not a champagne ball. It's a Leffe blonde. Leffe Belgium ale, 7%.
Fuck yeah, and it's a big one too. Is that a pint bottle?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming back on the show. We really appreciate it. If you guys have enjoyed listening and you're still listening, fuck, man, you guys are heroes. But go back and listen to our Halloween one, especially the Jason X, man. That was so fucking fun. It's one of my favorite times. We're knocking on 200 episodes. We're knocking on 200 episodes, and Jason X is it's on my Mount Rushmore of favorite episodes we've done.
You can find literally just the Jason X piece of the episode in the Was It Really That Bad folder on YouTube.
I swear on my life I don't remember a fucking word we said. I listened back like the next day, and then a year later, and I've listened back to it twice now.
But it was pandemic.
I still don't remember.
Who was doing anything the next day? Like,
you were so fucking drunk during that.
It was so
that
fun.
Was insane.
Oh God,
it was a blast, but goddamn, you really fucked me on that one.
We really drink. We really do it, people on the show.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, Marcus. Thank you, Dave, John. Go fuck yourself. And we'll see you all next week when we talk about Shazam and why Black Adam is not in this movie. How Black Adam knows there's another person using the Shazam and doesn't show up. Doesn't, you know, I know what world we live in, but
you're holding up the outro. Come on, fuck.
Okay, yeah, the Dasein music has been playing softly, ready to go. We didn't do our sponsors, Dave. Fuck.
They're
not really our sponsors anyway. All right, I'll see you guys later.
Wow. That's some cold ass shit right there.